Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Who is ready for some Purim Suda talk? I am, because I'm super excited about what I have in store for you guys. I actually brought it back from America with me when I was there. It's this beautiful hunk of beef, literally. And it's gorgeous, and we are going to be making something that is so easy, that is so simple, that is so super fun. It could only be for Purim, literally. We are making something super Jewish, turned Italian. I don't even know if it's found in kosher delis anymore. We are making the French dip sandwich, baby. That is right. We're taking this gorgeous hunk of beef. We're going to roast it up, roast beef style. And then we're going to use all the pan juices and drippings and salt and pepperiness of it to make the most amazing au jus, which is like just a fortified beef broth kind of thing almost. And you make caramelized onions and you build a sandwich. You use this like a baguette, but it's in between a baguette and a ciabatta, so it's like soft, and you toast it a little, and then you put the roast beef and caramelized onions, and you take the entire sandwich and you dip it in the au jus. That's right. It is messy and it is delicious. Now, why is this only for Purim? Well, this cut of meat is not super cheap, so you got to save them for special occasions. We're not really going to serve a sandwich on Shabbos or Rosh Hashanah. No. So we got to save it for the fun yontivs, and Purim is definitely a fun yontiv. It's the perfect candidate. Let me tell you why it's even more the perfect candidate, because you can make all this a day in advance or 2 days in advance and just throw it all in the crock pot and leave the bread on the side, and everybody could come and assemble their own sandwiches and dip it in as you go. And not to mention that the longer it sits in the au jus, the better it is. And this way, when you have people coming in and out all throughout the day, you always have hot meat ready to order them, and it stretches this not so cheap piece of meat a very long way. So before we start, let me just put this out there. I will give you guys the recipe, so don't worry. The first thing I want to say is I'm using a 3-pound piece of meat because it's not the Suda today, and I'm not freezing this. So basically my kids are just super lucky, and so they're getting this for dinner tonight. That's, I guess, the perks of your mother videoing herself all day. Just kidding. Not all day. Sometimes I sleep. It's not true. I don't sleep either. But you can ask your butcher for a bigger piece and just very minorly adjust the recipe if you wanted to feed more people. But you'll see the serving size of the 3-pound. This is a silver tip roast, by the way. It comes really nice. I got this one from Gourmet Glatt. And let's get started. Now, the first thing you want to do is take out your roast, rinse it, wrap it in a paper towel, dry it really well. Then set it aside and let it come to room temperature for like probably half an hour to 40 minutes. That's very important. Okay, everyone, I'm back. Our roast is very room temperatured. It's excellent. Now we're just going to season this up. Listen how easy this is. Olive oil, salt, pepper. Done. Yes, that's right. It is that simple. Here we go. I poured my olive oil on. I have a very generous amount of salt. I have a full tablespoon here for a 3-pound piece of meat. Also, you really do want to make sure that your meat is already tied for you. You can ask the butcher to do, because that's really going to help the meat cook evenly throughout and get a nice medium rare inside, or medium or well done, whatever you want. It's going to help it all stay together and cook. You want to make sure to get that side also seasoned up. Okay, I got this gorgeous meat all seasoned up. You can see there's pepper everywhere. I like mine a little bit more peppery. I like all meat a little bit more peppery. So I use like a good 2 teaspoons to 3 teaspoons. You can reduce it if you want. We're just going to take this and we're going to set it into a roasting rack in a pan. Now, you really want to put the pan in a rack because we want all those juices to drip down, because that's how we're going to make the au jus. I feel like you can buy disposable ones of these if you don't have, but I would anyways invest in a good roasting tin because they're amazing. I got the meat into my pan, just set it down, that's it, and now we're gonna cook it. Now, you really wanna set a timer, you wanna be exact. Don't worry, I'm gonna write all this down for you, because we're gonna start off at 425 for 30 minutes, which is gonna give it a really nice sear on the outside. Then we're gonna lower the heat to 3. Once you lower the temperature to 375, that's when you could play around with time. So we're gonna go for, like, rare is usually 11 minutes per pound, and medium is like closer to 14 minutes per pound. We're gonna do a 12-minute per pound, but you can decide. I'll write all that down for you, don't worry. All right, guys, I just took this beautiful piece of meat out of the oven. It smells amazing. You can see it's crispy on the outside, but look at that. 120 on the inside, which is perfectly rare. Now we're gonna remove this to a plate. Hold on. Okay, I'm gonna bring this onto the plate. We're gonna lightly cover this with foil, not seal it, just tent it. And this is gonna rise another like few degrees while it's resting, which will get it perfect to medium rare. Alrighty, now it's time for our au jus. So this is why I love a roasting pan. We're gonna take the whole thing, we're gonna set it over medium heat. There we go. And we're gonna get our onions caramelizing right in the pan with 1 extra tablespoon of olive oil. That I'm gonna add in a minute. I have 3 yellow onions here, like the Spanish onion. All right, I'm going in with just a small pinch of salt, because remember, we're adding beef stock that if you already made, you might not remember exactly how you seasoned it. Wine, things like that already have salt. So you want to be very light with the onions. Just use the salt to help draw out the moisture. You see all that brownness? All of that is flavor from the meat that the meat let out while it was cooking. Holy moly. And we're sucking all that up back into the onions, which is going to go into the sauce. I have 4 whole garlic cloves in. Just drop them in whole. My onions have wilted down. Now it's time to make the au jus. Now, 2 months ago when I thought of this idea, I would not have used onion soup mix, but now that onion soup mix is in my life and it's the most delicious thing ever, whether you're using an all-natural one like this is from the Shook or you're using whatever other kind, I feel like it's just the most delicious thing ever, and it's kind of my life now. I'm obsessed with it. So how could that be bad inside of an au jus? And most likely the really real delis are using that in their au jus. Now you know what time it is. It's wine o'clock. We are going in with a mixture of sherry wine and red wine, and we're going to get up all those yummy bits. Hold on, I just want to measure that for you. Your super hot pan. And right away, we just want to, there we go. You want to clean the pot. Clean the pot, baby. Really, we just want to get up all those delicious flavors, because those are all delicious flavors, and we want that in our sauce. So get that in there. And now we're going to pop in our red wine. You could really use all red wine or all white wine or all sherry wine if you want. I love the combination of like the deep red wine flavors and just the amazing sherry wine, which I'm obsessed with, which I use in everything. Okay, boom, we got some bubbling action going on. Now it's time to go in with our beef stock. If you don't have homemade beef stock, don't worry. Just use whatever you have. It comes in a bottle, in a can, doesn't matter. Pour that right in. Guys, look at this sauce. It is so beautiful. Okay, so that was basically 6 cups of beef stock. It does make a lot of au jus, but remember, we need to be able to dip everybody's sandwiches in. And plus, you could literally drink the stuff. It's that good. Okay, this came to a bubbling boil. Woo! Look at that steam. I just reduced the heat. We're just going to let this cook for another 10 minutes, and then that's it. Shut it off. 10 minutes. Set your clocks at a very gentle simmer. Holy moly, guys. This sauce is good. It tastes so yummy. Now that our sauce is done, it is time to reveal our roast. Intoxicating. The smell is so amazing. Now see those juices? You want to add those right back to the sauce. Yeah. You don't understand. I am literally sitting here going like this. It is that good. It is so good. Okay. Anyways, we need to slice this baby up. So first thing you want to do is you want to cut off your dressing. Get the strings out of there so we don't have any. All right. And I told you guys I really am crazy. I don't want to lose any of this. All of that is really good, like meaty salt and pepper. That's going into the juice. That's why we didn't add too much salt before, because we were adding other salty elements. Don't waste it. Now it's time to cut away. Here we go. I have the roast here. You only need a knife. It needs to be very, very sharp. Now, traditionally, this is done in deli, so it's done with a deli slicer. But if you've seen Dovey on my Instagram, you know I cannot have a deli slicer in my house. Okay, so use your sharpest knife. Sharpen it before you slice. It's okay if your slices don't go all the way down. We just want them super duper duper thin. See that? Paper thin, guys. Paper thin. Just keep going and slicing that. Ooh, you see that pinkness? Okay, we have a taste tester here. Wait, I gotta dip it in the sauce for you.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Get that in there, good and saucy. Here, fold that up for you. Here you go, Looshy Loosh. Shackle.
Shackle now, girl.
I mean. How is it?
And then,
could you imagine that in a sandwich?
oh,
Yum. It's amazing. I wasn't going to taste it, but then Label was like, no, you have to taste it. It's amazing. and it is amazing. I just want to show you the color of that inside, how nicely that cooked. And it's going to get pinker as we go towards the center. You just want super... Okay, 2 things I want to tell you. First of all, don't worry about having perfect knife cuts. Just worry about them being as super thin as possible. See, this is what you want. You want like a plate of very thin roast beef that you could pile onto the sandwiches. And also, by the way, this is 2 recipes in 1. Why? Why is this 2 recipes in 1? Because now you know how to make your own roast beef that you don't have to buy from a deli that tastes crazy delicious. You could use this and serve it room temperature, Shabbos lunch, as like a deli platter, homemade roast beef platter, yum. And you got the French dip sandwiches. Now that your meat is all sliced, we're gonna get this back into the juice to just hang out until dinner. But first we want to take out our onions and garlic because we want to make sure those get onto everybody's sandwiches. So we're just gonna put them aside so everybody can. Okay, we got our onions ready for assembling sandwiches. We got our juice, we got our meat, and yes. Let that hang out in there and soak up all that Jew goodness. Delicious. Okay, we just finished taking a picture of this. I'm going to get the recipe up on the blog by hopefully tomorrow or the day after. Meanwhile, let me just show you how to build it. You're going to start off with mayonnaise, horseradish mayo, which is just mayonnaise, horseradish, and a drop of lemon juice. I don't know if the lemon juice is traditional, but that's a little smear of that for, you know, richness and yumminess. Then some of the meat that's been sitting in the au jus. Then a pile of the onions. And then a giant bowl to dip your French dip sandwich in. Woohoo!